Hello students, once again I just welcome all of you in our third chapter chemical reactions and equations of English medium. This is part 1, third chapter. In this chapter we will discuss what is meant by the chemical reactions. There are some examples which is already given in our book on page number 30. We have to classify them in a chemical change or a physical change. This we have to see afterwards. There are activities are given for students by using some chemicals and instruments in the presence of a teacher. In presence of a teacher is the most important thing, and there are 5 activities are there. We have to analyze this thing, we have to see, and we have to find out the influence what happen in that chemical reactions. So these are the activities we have to take. Afterwards, there is a chart. We have to fulfill this chart by what is your influence, what are the result we have to obtain from that chemical reactions or the activities which we are taking in this lecture. And after that, there are some slight information regarding with what is meant by a chemical or a physical change or a chemical reactions. And in the chemical reactions, what are the how the elements are taking part in the chemical reactions. This we have to study in today's lecture. Okay, so we have to start with the chemical reactions. But before that, there are some we have to recall something which is we have already asked in our book, in our notebook, that what are the types of molecules of elements and compounds. What are the types of molecules? We know that types of molecules, that is hydrogen, H2, Cl2, okay, O3. These are molecules of a same compound, of a same element. That hydrogen and hydrogen, they react with each other to form H2, that is a molecule. Okay, these atoms are chemical react with each other to form a molecules. So H2, Cl2, O3, these are the examples of a molecules of a same element. And H2O, NaCl, CaCO3, these are the examples of a molecule of a different element, that is hydrogen is there and oxygen is there. So H2O is a compound, is made H2O, that is water, which is made of a this is a compound made of a element hydrogen and oxygen in the different proportion. That NaCl, which is we have already common salt, which is we have already used in our daily routine in our home, and CaCO3, that is calcium carbonate. It is formed from calcium, carbon and oxygen in different proportions. So this is the way we have the molecules of a same element and the molecules of a different element, they are formed. After that, they have asked what is meant by the valency of element. So we already studied that valency is the number of an element in its last orbit or valence orbit. How many electrons or a valence electron is present? If there is one valence electron is present, so that he donate this electron to the another element to form a compound, and that is its valence is +1. If two valence electron is there, its valence is 2. And it is +2. 3 is there, 3 valence electron is there, its valence is +3. 4 is there, there is tetravalent. They form a covalent bond. After that, 5 electrons in the valential. Then they, instead of donating 5 electrons, they have accepted 3 electrons from outside element. Okay, in this way its valence is 3, If 6 electron in the valence shell, that is oxygen, they take a 2 electron from another element. In this way its valence is -2. And if there is 7 electron in the outermost shell, then it requires 1 electron to complete its octet, so its valence is 1, it is -1. In this way valence indicates. After that, what is the requirement for writing molecular formula of a different compound? What are the requirements? What are the requirements to writing of molecular formula of a different compounds? Here is a molecular formula NaCl or CaCO3. Okay. So calcium carbonate is made of a composition of these 3 elements. That is, one of them is a calcium, another one is a carbon, and last one is oxygen. So these 3 elements are combined chemically in definite proportion in presence of some sort of a conditions are there, and after that they have written in such like that these radicals, that is calcium, carbon and oxygen, these elements can be written in their definite how valency according to their valency, that calcium is there, carbonate is there, carbonate is a negative radical and calcium is a positive radical. In this way, according to their valency, calcium having the valency +2 and CO3 its valence is +2 and its valence is -2. In this way valence is a cross multiple of each other, and in this way we have to write down its formulae, that of a limestone, that is of a calcium carbonate. Okay, so in this way we have seen that they have asked some questions in our book. After that, what is the chemical reactions? What is the chemical reactions? In our book we have given that in the 19th and 18th century the fundamental experiment of a chemical reactions is to be carried out, and they proved that the experiment during a chemical reaction, composition of matter changes and it remains changes, and that change remains a permanent. So the chemical reaction is the composition of matter changes and it remains a permanent. That means if any 2 elements react with each other, that is magnesium, that is, we have to take one example, that magnesium ribbon, if we ignited a magnesium ribbon in presence of oxygen, what we have to form? We have to form magnesium oxide. Okay, the properties of magnesium, properties of oxygen, and the properties of magnesium oxide, these are of a different compositions. So in this way the scientists have tried to solve these things, that how the composition of element taking place, and this we have to study, and the change which occur in the magnesium oxide, it is not irreversible. So from magnesium oxide we can't regain a magnesium or a oxygen from a magnesium oxide. A magnesium and oxygen, it can react chemically with each other with a different proportion in presence of something which is required for their chemical reaction, and they form a magnesium oxide. Okay, so we have given some example in our book. Identify the physical and chemical changes from a phenomenon in the given table. So we have to find out whether it is a chemical change or a physical change. Okay, so we have already on page number 30 we have given that some example, that phenomenon is there, and we have to classify them we have to identify whether it is a physical or a chemical. First example, the transformation of ice into water. Transformation of ice into water. Would it be permanent? It is not permanent. After that, if we have taken in a freezer, we have take out our tray and we have to put some water in it, and we have to put this tray in the freezer. After that we can regain, once again we have to obtain ice. so that it is not a chemical change. A chemical change is a permanent one. So in a chemical change, it is not irreversible. Okay. So it is a physical change. This one is a physical change. After that, cooking of food. Cooking of food. Cooking of food, we have see some chemical reaction is there. Any food you have to cook in our kitchen. After that, we cannot regain its original constituents which we have added in it. So that is a chemical change. After that, ripening of fruit. Ripening of fruit. If mango is ripened and after that, we cannot obtain the original one that we have already seen that thing. So ripening of fruit is also a chemical change, that milk turns into curd. Milk turns into curd. After that, we cannot regain a milk from the curd. So it is a chemical change. After that, evaporation of water. If water is heated and due to its it gains of energy, heat energy, it turns its transition state, and it goes in the form of evaporations, and after condensation of a steam, we can once again regain the water. So this change is a physical change. Okay. The digestion of food in the stomach. Digestion of food in the stomach. The food which we eat in everyday life, we cannot regain the original constituents afterwards, so that it is a chemical change. After that, the size reduction of a naphtha balls exposed to air. Naphtha ball when exposed to air, that is also a chemical change. And staining shahabadi or a kadappa tile by lemon juice. If we cut a lemon juice, if we cut a lemon on the floor, the juice which is spread on the kadappa tile or a shahabadi tiles, we can find a stain of a white shade. So that is also a chemical change. That is a reaction taking place between, that is the citric acid and the shahabadi tiles contents. So breaking of glass object on a falling from a height. Breaking of glass object on falling from a height. What is that? We cannot once again regain this product afterwards. Okay. So in this way, there are some examples in the table 3.1. Some common phenomenon we have given in our book. After that, they have told to student that you have to does this activity. There are 5 activities are there, and the apparatus which is needed for that particular activities are thermometer. Okay. In this activity, we have given that we can easily see in our book that apparatus, that is thermometer, evaporating dish is there. Thermometer to measure the temperature, evaporating dish, where we have to add some chemicals and heated by using a Bunsen burner. Then the tripod stand is there, stand which is required. We have to put a Bunsen burner. We have to put evaporating dish over it. After that, Bunsen burner is there, funnel is there, and these are the apparatus which already provided to the student in presence of a teacher, and they have to perform what happened next, what changes, whether its color is changed, what is its color before reaction and after reaction, what is the temperature before reaction, after reaction, and something different is the nature of the change, whether we have to inference it, we have to find out it, what is the result, that its nature of the change. So that chemicals we have provided, that limestone powder is there, limestone powder, that is limestone powder, COC3 there, copper sulfate is there, that is CuSO4 is there. After that calcium chloride is there, CaCl2. Potassium chromate is there, potassium chromate, K2CrO4 is there, and zinc dust is there, sodium carbonate is there, and phthalic anhydride, These are the chemicals. Why I have written all these things, that is a chemical formula of a calcium carbonate, copper sulfate, calcium chloride, potassium chromate, zinc dust, and sodium carbonate, and phthalic anhydride. There are some chemicals which are not in our laboratory, and in everyday's life we cannot find out those things. Calcium carbonate, copper sulfate, calcium chloride, potassium chromate, it may have in our laboratory. Zinc dust is also there, sodium carbonate is there, but phthalic anhydride is a sublimative things. Whether it is found, I don't know whether it is found in our laboratory or not, it's present in our laboratory or not. So we have to utilize these chemicals, and we have to do these activities which is we have given that. Carry out the activities 1 to 5 in given below. Read and record the temperature in the activities 2 to 4. So we have to carry out this thing. So there are 5 activities we have given that. So separately, one by one we have to see the activities. What you have to do? We have to take a separate one activity, and what happened in that activity. That means inference, changes, results we have to find in this activity. The first activity, take a spoonful of limestone powder in an evaporating dish. Heat it strongly on a high blue flame. What happens? Calcium carbonate we have to take in an evaporating dish, and we have to utilize, we have to give one out, heat it strongly on a high blue flame. What happens? So that we have to find out that when evaporating dish containing a limestone powder is heated, carbon dioxide gas is released and calcium oxide is formed. That is CaO plus CO2. Calcium oxide, the gas is evolved in this reaction, and calcium oxide is another product we have to find out. Okay, these are the two product we have to find out when we heated a calcium carbonate. So what are these? I just write down the chemical reaction, but it is not necessary to write down those things, because we teach how to write a chemical formula, how to write the arrows, what arrow indicates, what this triangle is indicates, what this upward direction arrow indicates. But before that, I just utilize those things to understand quickly. After that, we will study those things. And the second add zinc dust into copper sulfate solution. And zinc dust into copper sulfate solution. That is a displacement one of the, afterwards you can study. That is ZnSO4 plus Cu, and this reaction. In this reaction, what you have to see? In this reaction, when zinc powder is added to a blue copper colored copper sulfate solution, colorless solution of a zinc sulfate is formed with evolution of heat. When zinc dust and copper sulfate add with each other, zinc sulfate and copper is formed. That is normally a displacement reaction, and in that we have to evolution of heat also. So heat is also evolved. It is also evolved in this reaction. So this one is there. This is the second reaction, and after that we just tentatively see those things. We have to see perfectly. We have to write down all these reactions, all these regarding abbreviations, what is needed to write down these complete reactions. We will write it afterwards in our next lecture, because we are not given the laws how to write those reactions, how to indicate, how arrow is indicate, how in presence of which things are required to carry out these reactions. Okay, so third activity. Here we are not seeing a reaction, here we see the activities only. What changes takes place, whether its color changes, whether it's a temperature it changes, whether its state changes. These things we have to observe by a reaction, by doing this reaction. A third one is that add a potassium chromate solution to barium sulfate solution. Potassium chromate solution to barium sulfate solution. Barium sulfate solution. This is the third one. What happens? K2 plus ion, this is negative, acidic and basic radicals. So K2SO4 plus BaCrO4. So what happens in this reaction? When solution of a potassium chromate reacts with potassium chromate is react with a barium sulfate, a yellow PPT of barium chromate is found out. This is PPT. PPT means precipitate. Precipitate. We have to find out of a yellow color. Okay. So in this way, this is a double displacement reaction. That is, this acidic particle, this basic and this acidic particle reacts with each other, and this acidic and basic particles react with each other, and they have formed a potassium sulfate and barium chromate. Okay, so what changes they have expected? They expected only what changes are there. We can see by naked eye, that is yellow PPT precipitated is formed, and the reaction is such like that. Actually we have to not write down those reactions, but what happened there, in a curious vision we can write down those reactions. And after that, what is the fourth reaction? Add sodium carbonate solution to calcium chloride solution. Sodium carbonate, that is Na2CO3 to calcium chloride solution. So what we have to see? Na2Cl2, that twice NaCl plus CaCO3 plus CaCO3. So we have to see what happens when solution of a sodium carbonate is added with the calcium chloride, white PPT of calcium carbonate, white PPT. White PPT. Here we can see the yellow PPT. Here we can see the white PPT. In both these reactions are a double displacement. We can study. Once again, I told to you that, telling those things that these reactions are, I just write down for your convenience how the reaction is taking place. Actually, we will study afterward those things in the next lecture or next lesson. In our next hour, we can write down those reactions. Here, for your curious thing, what happened in that particular activity? For that, I have written those chemical reactions. That sodium carbonate and calcium chloride, they react with each other. Here is acidic and basic radicals reacts with each other, and they have formed 2NaCl, that's CaCO3, that calcium carbonate, and white precipitated of a calcium chloride is formed there. So that is the fourth reaction, fourth activity. And after that they have given pathalic anhydride in evaporating dish. Pathalic anhydride. So its chemical formula is, I just search it on the internet, Google it, and after that I just find out C3H4O3, such like that, I think so. They have not given a chemical formula for that in our book. And we have to take this in an evaporating dish. On a tripod stand by using a Bunsen burner. We heat it. After that, we have to put funnel invertedly, and we have to its end we have to put cotton plug here, so that the gas or anything will not release from that particular point. After heating, what happens is they have been first we have to see what happens. Close the end of the steam of a funnel. With a cotton plug. Keep the funnel inverted. And after that, on the evaporating dish, heat the evaporating dish on a tripod stand. This is a tripod stand, and heat it by using